Today we'll continue with the previous topic, bonding agents and techniques. Bonding systems. In dentistry, the agents that produce adhesive dental joints are referred to as bonding systems, and they have been classified historically on the basis of the primary adherent, where they can be enamel only bonding systems, dentine only bonding systems, and dentine oblique enamel bonding systems. That means which simultaneously bond dentine and enamel. Now coming to the dentine bonding system. The dentine bonding system is divided into three parts. First is acid, then comes second primer, then third is fluid resin. Acid, number one, acid removes the smear layer and exposes the collagen network into which the resin monomer penetrates. So the purpose of using the acid is removal of the smear layer in a dentine bonding system, so that the collagen network can be exposed into which the resin monomer can penetrate and create a micromechanical bonding. Then comes primer. Primer includes bifunctional molecules. Bifunctional molecules means they are simultaneously hydrophilic and hydrophobic. Why? Because dentine is hydrophilic by nature, and bonding to dentine can only occur if the bonding agent that we are using has hydrophilic components also. Therefore, for adhesion, for good adhesion, primer has to have both hydrophilic and hydrophobic molecules. Hydrophilic for bonding to the dentine and hydrophobic for bonding to the resin part. Now, the primer infiltrates the collagen network when placed on slightly moist dentine surface and forms the hybrid layer. So, penetration of the primer through infiltration of the collagen network is results in the formation of a hybrid layer. What is hybrid layer? We'll discuss later. Basically, you have to understand that the resin infiltration layer that is produced after the exposure of the collagen network and infiltration of the primer inside the collagen network, the resin interdiffusion zone that is formed is known as the hybrid layer. Commonly used primers have hydroethyl methacrylate monomers, hydroxyethyl methacrylate monomers dissolved in organic solvents. This relatively thin resin layer is known as dentine bonding agent or primer. Now coming to the third part, which is fluid resin. Now after applying the primer, fluid resin is applied. What is fluid resin? It includes unfilled resin monomers which are mostly hydrophobic. For example, bisphenol glycidyl methacrylate. They may contain a small percentage of hydrophilic monomers also, such as hydroxyethyl methacrylate. The fluid resin penetrates into the interfibrillar spaces and copolymerizes with the primer molecules. And along with that, it also penetrates into the dentinal tubules to form resin tags. Thus, what does the fluid resin do? It serves as a structural backbone to the hybrid layer that is formed by the primer. Now, these bonding systems, also called simply dentine bonding systems, include ingredients that etch, prime and bond to dentine and simultaneously produce enamel bonding. That means the dentine oblique enamel bonding systems, which are also called as dentine bonding systems, they simultaneously bond enamel and dentine. Their bonding agent is similar to what was originally used for enamel only bonding systems and involves an unfilled or lightly filled liquid acrylic monomer mixture which is placed onto an acid etched and primed dentine surface. The bonding system primer depends on hydrophilic monomers such as 2-hydroxyethyl methacrylate to wet easily the hydrophilic dentine surface that contains some moisture. Although the primer or the bonding agent or both may flow into the dentinal tubules, the bond strength is primarily achieved by micromechanical bonding to the intertubular dentine, which is between the tubules along the contentine surface. This means that the primer or the bonding agent or both of them, they can flow into the dentinal tubules and form resin tags, but primarily the bond strength comes from the micromechanical bonding to the intertubular dentine. So now coming to the classification of modern adhesives based on generations: first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth and seventh generation bonding agents. Based on smear layer treatment, smear layer modifying agents, smear layer removing agents and smear layer dissolving agents. Based on the number of steps, clinical steps, they can be either in 3 steps, in 2 steps, or they can either be applied in a single step. Now coming to the mechanism of bonding. The dentine adhesive molecule has a bifunctional structure which is known as MRX chemistry, where M is the double bond of methacrylate that copolymerizes with the composite resin. Now R in between is the spacer, such as a hydrocarbon chain which makes the molecule large, and X is the functional group for bonding which bonds to inorganic or organic portion of dentine. So this is very important to understand the mechanism of bonding. Here you can see in this MRX chemistry that on one side there is a double bond of methacrylate which copolymerizes with the composite resin, and on one side there is a functional group X which bonds to the inorganic or the organic portion of the dentine, and therefore the bonding agent, the dentine bonding agent or the primer that is used needs to have a bifunctional structure so that it can bond to the hydrophobic composite resin and hydrophilic dentine simultaneously. In this figure, you can see that in a bonding agent, hydrophilic end displaces the dentinal fluid to wet the surface, and the hydrophobic end bonds to the composite resin. Ideally, a dentine bonding agent should have both hydrophilic and hydrophobic ends, as I already explained. The hydrophilic end will displace the dentinal fluid to wet the surface, whereas the hydrophobic end will bond to the composite resin. Now, bonding to the inorganic part of the dentine involves ionic interaction among negatively charged group on X, for example, phosphate, amino acid, amino alcohol, and the positively charged calcium ions in the hydroxyapatite crystals. Commonly used bonding systems employ use of phosphates. Now, bonding to the organic part of the dentine involves interaction with amino, hydroxyl, etc. groups which are present in dentinal collagen. So, dentine bonding agents extract the hydrogen from these groups and bond chemically. So, in this way there is chemical bonding through MRX chemistry, where inorganic part of the dentine bonds through ionic interaction among negatively charged group on X and positively charged calcium ions which are inside the hydroxyapatite crystals, and whereas the bonding to the organic part of the dentine will involve interaction with the amino, hydroxyl, etc. with groups which are present in the dentinal collagen, and thereby dentine bonding agents extract the hydrogen from these groups and then they bond chemically. Now most dentine bonding systems have acids that remove the smear layer and partially demineralize the intertubular dentine. In most systems, these acidic components are weaker than the 37% phosphoric acid which is commonly used to etch the enamel surface. When viewed under high magnification, dentine without a smear has many irregularities for micromechanical retention. That means under high magnification it has been seen that dentine without a smear layer has many irregularities for micromechanical retention, and therefore ideally such agents remove the smear layer but leave the smear plugs because they greatly reduce dentine permeability and sensitivity, meaning that when we use these mild the acids that are used inside the dentine bonding agent, when these acids are used, they etch they remove the smear layer, that is on the dentine, but they leave the smear plugs which are inside the dentinal tubules, because if they remove these smear plugs, it can cause dentine permeability, increased dentine permeability, and thereby increased sensitivity. So therefore, in order that such kind of dentinal sensitivity does not occur, we use acidic components which are weaker than 37% phosphoric acid to etch the dentine, so that just the smear layer is removed, leaving the smear plugs. Now after the acids, hydrophilic adhesive resins are applied that penetrate into the inherently moist dentine surface. After using these acids, hydrophilic adhesive resins are applied, which are primers that penetrate into the inherently moist dentine surface and copolymerize with the composite restoration. That means primer and adhesives, they are used successively, and they are always used on the moist dentine surface. Why on the moist dentine surface? Because basically the structure of the dentine is such that, you can see in the diagram here, the structure of the dentine is such that there are collagen fibrils in between where there is water. So what does the interfibrillar water do? It acts as a plasticizer and keeps the fibers open. Now if the water is removed, then what happens? These fibrils collapse. Overdrying of dentine causes collapse of collagen fibrils, and therefore the penetration of the adhesive will be ineffective. That means there will be inappropriate penetration of the adhesive. Adhesive won't be able to properly penetrate inside the collagen mesh, and therefore this is the reason why we keep the dentine slightly moist. We'll talk about moist versus dry dentine also. Now, although some of the bond forms from resin tags extending into the dentinal tubules also, most of the bond strength, as we discussed earlier, it develops from the resin that penetrates and adapts to the demineralized intertubular dentine and exposed collagen fibers. The resultant resin interdiffusion zone is termed as the hybrid layer. So this is what is hybrid layer called as. The resin interdiffusion zone is known as the hybrid layer. Now, most dentine bonding systems remove or solubilize the smear layer. You can see here how the resin removes or solubilizes the smear layer and allows for the resin to penetrate, which allows for the resin to penetrate and form a hybrid layer with the dentine structure. And here you can see the smear layer is removed, but the smear plug is not removed. So smear plugs are kept as it is so that dentinal hypersensitivity does not develop. Now coming to hybridization. What is hybridization? Now we'll talk about the hybrid layer in detail. Formation of the hybrid layer, the process of formation of a hybrid layer is known as hybridization. Hybrid layer is a phenomena of formation of resin interlocking in the demineralized dentine surface. When the dentine is treated with a conditioner, it exposes the collagen fibril network with interfibrillar microporosities. So when we apply a mild acid, the smear layer is removed and the collagen fibers are exposed. So collagen fibril network is exposed, and this collagen fibril network has interfibrillar microporosities. When the primer is applied on this exposed collagen mesh, these interfibrillar microporosities or spaces are filled with low viscosity monomer. Now this layer, formed by the demineralization of dentine and subsequent infiltration of monomer, which subsequently polymerizes, is called as hybrid layer or resin reinforced layer. It is responsible for the micromechanical bonding between the tooth and resin. So this is hybridization, which is the process of the formation of a hybrid layer. Here you can see the diagrammatic representation of hybrid layer, where resin tags are also formed inside the dentinal tubules. Now this resin interdiffusion zone or hybrid layer, in which the hydrophilic monomers penetrate and polymerize to form an interpenetrating network with a demineralized collagen fibril network, consists of 3 different zones. Number 1, top layer, which consists of loosely arranged collagen fibrils and interfibrillar spaces which are filled with resin. Then below it is the middle layer, which consists of interfibrillar spaces in which the hydroxyapatite crystals have been replaced by resin monomer because of the hybridization process. And then the bottom layer is there, which consists of almost unaffected dentine with a partly demineralized zone of dentine. So in this diagram you can see different zones of the hybrid layer. Now coming to the moist versus dry dentine. By etching the dentine, the smear layer and minerals from it are removed, thus exposing the collagen fibers. That means when we put a mild acid on the dentine, then what happens? The smear layer is removed and the collagen fibers are exposed. Collagen mesh is exposed. Now the areas from where the minerals are removed, they are filled with water. This water acts as a plasticizer for collagen, keeping it in an expanded soft state. So as we know, dentine is hydrophilic in nature. It consists of water, and the water is there in between the collagen mesh, and this interfibrillar water acts as a plasticizer and keeps the fibers open. But these collagen fibers collapse when dry. That means if we dehydrate the dentine, if we make the dentine totally dry, then what happens? These collagen fibers collapse because they become because the interfibrillar water is removed, so they become dry. They collapse when the dentine is dried. And what happens then? This obstructs the resin from reaching the dentine surface and forming a hybrid layer. So proper penetration of the resin is not possible. And Therefore, it results in low bond strength because of the ineffective penetration of the adhesive inside the dentine. Therefore, it is important to keep the dentine slightly moist before application of a bonding agent. Now, in dehydrated dentine, loss of water causes collapse of the collagen fibrils and prevention of proper penetration of the monomer. Therefore, as I said, moist dentine is a must to achieve successful dentinal bonding. In this figure, you can see how the etching of the dentine causes exposure of the collagen fibrils, and here there is interfibrillar water also, which acts as a plasticizer and keeps the fibers open. Now, reasons for better bonding in moist dentine. The use of adhesive system on moist dentine is made possible by incorporation of organic solvents such as acetone or ethanol in the primer or adhesive. Now, when organic solvents are used in the primer or adhesive, what happens is that because of the solvent displaces the water from the dentine surface and the moist collagen network, and thus it promotes the infiltration of the resin throughout the nanospaces of the dense collagen web. What they mean is that acetone trails the water and improves the penetration of monomer into the dentine for better micromechanical bonding, and therefore such organic solvents use of such organic solvents in the adhesive systems helps in better bonding to the dentinal surface, since these organic solvents such as acetone, they displace the water from the dentinal surface and the moist collagen network, and since they displace the water and therefore they trail the water, and thus improved penetration of the monomer into the dentine is done for better micromechanical bonding. And also the water keeps collagen fibers from collapsing, thus helping in better penetration and bonding between resin and dentine. The pooled moisture should not remain on the tooth because excess water, pooling of the moisture should not remain on the tooth. The dentine should be slightly moist but not too moist, because if there is pooled moisture, there will be excess water which will dilute the primer and can render it less effective. So, the ideal requirement is a glistening hydrated dentinal surface is preferred. A thin film of water should be there which will be driven off by the solvent and primer. So, by the trailing of the acetone, trailing the water means that the water is driven off by the solvent in the primer, and thus proper penetration of the monomer occurs, which gives a better bonding. Many clinicians still dry the tooth preparation after rinsing away the etching gel in order to check for classic etched enamel appearance. Because it is clinically impossible to dry enamel without simultaneously also drying the dentine, therefore the dentine collagen collapses easily on air drying, resulting in the closing of the micropores in the exposed intertubular collagen. So, one should avoid air drying the dentine. Dentine should not be dried with direct pressure, it should be dried with indirect pressure, so that a thin film of water should be there on the dentine. For acetone based water free dentine bonding systems, the etched dentine surface must be re-wetted before applying the adhesive. So, there are two kinds of primers which are acetone based but water free. and which are water containing primers. So for acetone based water free dentine bonding systems, since they don't contain water, the etched dentine surface should be re-wetted before applying the adhesive. For such kind of primers, the bonding systems, the dentine surface should be re-wetted before applying the adhesive. Now some authors have suggested that inclusion of water in the composition of some adhesives may result in re-wetting the collagen fibers in areas that are not left fully moist, thus opening the interfibrillar spaces to the infiltration of the priming resin. So some authors have also suggested that if we include water also along with acetone in the composition of adhesives, this will result in the re-wetting of the collagen fibers in those areas which were not left fully moist, thus opening the interfibrillar spaces for better penetration of the resin. Now in dry bonding, as I told you, there are two kinds of primers, water-based primers, acetone-based primers. So in dry bonding, water-based primers are used as they are not dependent on moist dentine because of their ability to self-wet a dried dentine surface. So a thin film of water is not needed to be left. That means re-wetting of the dentine is not needed to be done, as these water-based primers are not dependent on moist dentine because of their ability to self-wet a dried dentine surface, which automatically separates the collapsed collagen fibers. So this is known as dry bonding, and in wet bonding it is a must to keep a thin film of water on the dentinal surface before applying the primer. But moist dentine is friendly with all primer types, whether it is water containing primer or non-water containing primer. Moist dentine is friendly with all kinds of primers. So therefore it is advisable to have moist dentine for resin dentine bonding. Now the simultaneous inclusion of an organic solvent and water in place of having water free, in place of having only organic solvent or only water in the primer, if we simultaneously include organic solvent and water also together, so this can lead to the best kind of infiltration of some adhesives into the demineralized dentine. So therefore the simultaneous inclusion of an organic solvent and water may be fundamental for the best infiltration of some adhesives into the demineralized dentine. This could result in less technique sensitive procedure. So this is what is dry bonding and wet bonding. Now over drying of the dentine, this figure shows how the over drying of the dentine causes collapse of collagen fibers and thus ineffective and thereby ineffective penetration of the adhesive. And this figure shows that on the other hand, if the dentine is over wet, the presence of water, excess water, dilutes the monomer and therefore competes it for sites in collagen network. This means proper penetration of the adhesive resin is not possible, and therefore this will lower the bond strength. Now coming to the smear layer. What is smear layer? When a tooth surface is altered using hand or rotary instruments, the cutting debris are gathered on the enamel and dentine surface, thus forming a smear layer. Therefore, smear layer is an amorphous debris layer which consists of both organic and inorganic constituents, and it is caused iatrogenically during operative procedure. It has an average depth of 1 to 5 micrometer. Here you can see smear layer and smear plugs, and the depth of the smear layer, which can be up to 5 micrometer. Components of the smear layer. Smear layer consists of both organic and inorganic components. The inorganic components in the smear layer is made up of tooth structure and some non-specific inorganic contaminants. Whereas the organic components may consist of heated coagulated proteins which is a gelatin formed by the deterioration of collagen heated by the cutting temperature, necrotic or viable pulp tissue and odontoblastic processes, saliva, blood cells and microorganisms. Here you can see a magnified presentation of smear layer and plugs. You can see the intertubular dentine, peritubular dentine, and how the smear plugs are formed along with the smear layer. The smear plugs are part of the smear layer only, which are inside the tubules, dentinal tubules. Now here this lecture finishes. In the next lecture we'll continue with the various generations of bonding agents and the various types of bonding agents. Thank you.